Hello, it's Franz. I'm getting started with Posca paint in a pen brush markers. Here are the markers. They're made in Japan. These were shipped from Europe because the regular Posca are more popular for some reason, but I was really interested in using these brush style ones just because I like to have a lot of variety in the line width, and with these you can go fairly wide and then you can go down with a light touch very narrow. So it is a lot like an acrylic brush, and unlike a lot of brush markers that are, it's some kind of a felt tip or something, this is an actual brush made with synthetic hairs. So it is very much like being able to carry a portable paint set in your pocket. That's not going to make a lot of a mess, even though I do have my gloves on because it's going to get on my hands anyway somehow. But it is less likely to get everywhere than if you have a set of acrylic paints, a palette, and all of those things. So I've been trying it on these different colors of card that I have. Here's an orange. This red, it's kind of a pink color. It's not quite red, but in the absence of other red, it looks red enough, I guess. Our perception of color is very relative. So we are going to sort of determine what color something is. It's very dependent on the color of everything else around us. Let's see the widest line that I can make. How wide? It's pretty wide, but it does dry out a bit if you spread that brush too far. Well, it depends on how much ink you have primed at that point. So I'm already starting to get a sense of how this will be. So notice what they have here. These caps, put it back on, it prevents that priming button from being activated while it's in your pocket or your art box or wherever it might be. I'm going to put this cap on. The brush protects that brush as long as you put it on correctly. There we go. I'm going to try the white just because you have a lot of darker color surfaces that you may want to be drawing on. Let's see. Starting to get a little flow there. A little bit. There we go. That's it. That white is nice and bright, that's good. It will show out. Supposedly you can use this on all different types of surfaces, metal or glass. I haven't been into these markers that long, so let's see. There's and the drying speed is pretty good. I'm not really picking up or smearing. Let me try going over one of my earlier lines here. Seems like it goes right over. No difficulty there. That is one of the nice things about Posca markers, is they cover the other markers pretty well. To get absolute coverage, you might have to go over it multiple times, but that means that if you have a line that you don't totally like, you can hypothetically cover it over with an opposite color and then do the next layer differently. I see the camera is picking up the white as being super bright. And the orange. I think that every pack of markers should include 2 black markers. And in the case of paint markers, which have white also, they should include 2 white markers. Just because you'll have a lot of use for the basic black and white for highlights, shadows, outlines. Get a little bit more flow there. Add some to the blue card. Blue card already has a lot of color vibration going on. The white detracts from that effect a little bit. If it's added right next to the red, it really is super bright. And then for the white, suppose I want to go over some of the lines. Doesn't work that well actually, but it does something. Maybe a couple of layers there would, I picked up a little bit of the red. Guess that wasn't dry. But looks nice so far. Try bringing out another color. see if I can use up some of the ink that is already, it's not ink, it's paint, special water-based acrylic. I'm going to try the silver metallic, just see how metallic it is. Take off the cap. Prime the brush. There. Wow. Like the look of the silver. It's got a shiny quality to it as it goes on. On the camera it looks a lot like the white, but there is definitely interesting. Wow, it's so reflective. The camera makes it look like the white, but to my human eyes, it appears to be definitely a sparkly silver gray. You could almost use the silver interchangeably with the white to create the highlights in your artwork. Would be interesting to blend this in with some of the colors. See what results. They also have a gold color that is included, so no bronze, but wow, look at that. Nice wide spread there. Try along the white. Is that visible to the camera? I see. If I wave it, you can definitely see it there. Here's this other piece of card. This is sort of textured paper, so it is different than a smooth surface that you might be using. Guess the rough texture is kind of similar to canvas. I can tell I'm going to have a lot of fun painting anywhere I want to with these markers. That was the idea in buying them, to be able to freely paint wherever I would go, instead of being tied to a traditional paint set or something. Just put these in the pocket. I like the thumb button. That is a great way to do it, I think, instead of having to use pressing down on the nose to control everything. I'm gonna try this yellow. Shake it up, the ball inside there. Prime the marker. These are fairly expensive, so you don't want to use these carelessly. Realize that some people say they can be refilled, but according to the official literature, they're not considered refillable. So use your paint wisely that you get in each set. Yellow. Alright, on a white card, the yellow is actually pretty visible. As you know, with markers, the yellow marker is usually the weakest of the set. That's just the way light and chemistry tend to go. So, of course, the orange is mostly absorbing it as a background color. It's good enough here. I can use it on the black. Blend some across the silver to see what happens. That's nice. Color overlay over the silver. Might use that effect intentionally. Put down the silver to get brightness, and then put other colors over. Take some over there. Yeah, that's decent coverage of the colors below. With conventional ink markers, you can't really change your mind. You can't change your mind a lighter color to a lighter color. You can always change your mind to a darker color. But here, the possibility of overlaying exists. spiral. Move that up. That's nice. I guess I next should try the black. Just to see how much overlay possibilities I have. So there are 10 standard colors. It doesn't look like it fills out the top of the package, but the bottom is filled out. Opening the top and bottom plastic here. Forgot to shake it up. There we go. Now that is nice and dark. Wow. So, look at that. Beautiful. Put it right across the other lines if you want. I also saw another offer online for black and white Posca brush markers, but the price was so high. I think it was $6 per marker instead of $4 per marker as I got with this deal, so don't know if that is necessarily worth it. Look at that. Nice coverage there. I can add in more shadow to the shape. It is actually darker than the paper itself, so could be used to emphasize certain parts of the artwork. If I was using these at home, I would probably have a brush with large amounts of acrylic paint to cover the large areas. And then I would sort of sparingly use these markers, or even get some of the Posca fine line markers to come in and do the detail work. Just economics there. Look how crisp that looks. The contrast there really brings out the beauty of all of the other colors. When these do run out of paint, I will try to refill them with some sort of bottled paint. We'll see if they would actually accept it. I don't know if there is a way to get paint into this construction. On the regular Posca, you can apparently pull off the nib to turn it around, replace it with another nib, or to refill. Look at that. Dark and beautiful. And of course, yellow, as we always know, once contrast is built up around that yellow, that is when it really stands out. Just love drawing these abstract shapes. With the power to go over everything and keep refining it, you do have to carefully ask yourself, oops, see, I overdid that red. I over covered it. Will I come back and try to reestablish that swirl, or just leave it? Separate out those colors with some black between or not? That is a tough question. But changes the perceived shape very quickly. I will round that off a bit. That works very well. Much like computer art, you can start with a darker color instead of white, and that is a type of mental freedom from the usual ideas, because 90% of the paper that we have is white or other bright colors. So it's kind of a special treat to be able to start from a dark color instead. You almost don't know what to do with that ability. It's a little scary. I'll leave that shape. I like the way it is. Nice shadow for that form. Clear the paint off a bit, and then switch back to the red to finish off this video. Come back to where we started. See if it's still primed. Yes. Ready for action. Taking off a bit of that white edge, broadening out that line. I'll leave that alone. I like that. Nice little spiral maze going on here. Now come back. Put that swirl in again. Saved it. It's back. I don't know if you can even see that, but .4K resolution should do something good for this video. Every little brush stroke is visible. Put the cards back on here. Fill in my final look at everything here. Like 360 degrees, I guess. I will finish this video at 36 minutes unedited. Nice coverage. Getting my mind around controlling the brush chips. It's a bit different in feel from the brush chip markers with a felt tip brush chip that I've been using a lot, but really nice. I'm pleased with the purchase. Oh, I didn't even take off the trigger thing there of this set of Posca brushes. So I will recommend them if you love brush markers. And if you don't, then you have no reason not to buy the less expensive regular Posca markers. But I've been having a fun time with these recently, so I think that you might as well. Please subscribe.